Hello everybody, what we're going to be having a look at in today's video is simple, compound and complex sentences. You've asked for it, so let's do it. What we're going to be doing is having a look at being able to identify and use the different type of sentences. So what we're going to start with today is simple sentences. So a simple sentence has one independent clause. That means one subject, one verb, a complete thought, one idea, one piece of information that we're passing on. So it can be as simple as the cat sleeps, he runs fast, Sarah reads books. It's one person doing one thing. That's it. After that, things start getting that little bit more complicated. So then we're going to move on to compound sentences. So this is basically where we have two simple sentences and we join them together with what's called a conjunction. A conjunction is a joining word. A word like and, but, then, things like that. A compound sentence has two independent clauses joined by a conjunction. So the examples we've got here are things like the cat sleeps and the dog barks. So the cat sleeps on its own is a simple sentence. The dog barks on its own is a simple sentence, but we put the word and between them and it changes the whole thing into a compound sentence. Other examples, I wanted pizza, but we had pasta. She studied hard, so she passed the test. So you can see in these examples, we're also showing you what a lot of those conjunctions are as well. So we've got and, but, so, or, yet. There are many more out there. It's worth Googling just because there are documents out there already, lots of learning materials that can list all of these conjunctions or joining words. So after compound, we're going to look at complex sentences. So this is where we have an independent clause and one or more dependent clause. So an independent clause is what we were looking at with those simple sentences. It's one idea that can stand alone and make sense. To make it a complex sentence, what we do is we add more detail, more information, but if we just read that information on its own, it wouldn't make sense. So it's basically adding detail, but rather than with a compound sentence where we've got two independent pieces of information that we join together, this is one piece of information and some added detail. So a complex sentence, one independent clause and one or more dependent clauses. So that's the added detail that doesn't make sense on its own. For example, the cat sleeps, that's a simple sentence on its own. When the house is quiet. But if we said when the house is quiet, on its own, that makes no sense because when the house is quiet, what? We need more information. So the cat sleeps when the house is quiet. We have the simple sentence, that independent clause of the cat sleeps, and then we have the dependent clause, when the house is quiet. It is dependent on that first part because on its own, it doesn't make sense. Although it was late, we kept working. So again, we kept working. They've changed it around this time. We kept working as a simple sentence. But if we add, although it was late on its own, that doesn't make sense. Although it was late, what? We need more information. So it's when we're adding detail to a simple sentence, but we usually frame it by adding a comma or some other form of punctuation in order to add that extra detail. So the other examples we have here. She smiled because she saw her friend. When the phone rang, he jumped. Since I forgot my umbrella, I got soaked. So we've got here a list of, I think it's at least 5, if not 6 examples. And just to recap, a simple sentence is one idea that we express and it makes sense, just one short sentence. For example here, the baby cried. If we've got a compound sentence, it's 2 simple sentences glued together. The baby cried and the mum comforted her. A complex sentence is a simple sentence plus added detail that doesn't make sense on its own. The baby cried because she was hungry. So in that case, we've got that extra bit of information. So that's it, just a very short, sweet introduction into those 3 main types of sentences. I would highly recommend the BBC SkillsWise website if you need any extra information, advice or guidance. They are particularly good. They have fact sheets, worksheets and videos, and you can find them just by Googling BBC SkillsWise. Alternatively, have a look through the online learning platform and you'll be able to find some activities on there for you to practice those skills. Thank you ever so much. Have a great day.